my name is Caro Llewellyn and I'm the CEO of the Wheeler Centre for Books, Writing and Ideas. It's my great pleasure to welcome viewers from all over Australia for this, the first ever digital broadcast of the Victorian Premier's Literary Awards. I'm now very pleased to introduce Nawit Carolyn Briggs for the Welcome to Country.
Marin Big Big Bunurong, Namde Barupton Ata Willem. Welcome to our beautiful home, the lands of the two great bays. Nerm, Port Phillip Bay, and Marin, Western Port Bay. This country we now are a part of the Yalukit Willem and the lands of the Birunga, meaning country of the river, what you know as the Yarra. As a member of the family of the Yalukit Willem, one of Melbourne's first people, I'm pleased to be able to welcome you all here today. We are especially pleased to recognise the commitment you have made by being here and paying respects to the spirit of the lands of the first people. Today we acknowledge the Eastern Kulin. The country is not ceded. The Bunwurrung are the custodians of the lands that stretch from the Wilson's Promontory all the way to the mouth of the Werribee River, to our beautiful Western Port and Port Phillip. It is important for all Australians and fellow countrymen to understand and appreciate the history and the culture of the first peoples of what we now know as Melbourne. The struggles to preserve our cultures and our cultural heritage has been a tradition that began with our ancestors back in the 1830s. And one of the lessons we should take from this struggle was the way the elders and the leaders of the day forged an alliance that led to many achievements that we take for granted today. Our elders are still here with us today. Finally, we think about the laws that guide our principles, and those are Yilenge, knowledge; Gilbrook, respect; Jambana, community. And then the last one is Wurrungi Big, the law of the land. So when you think about those pillars, what guide our life ways, these are the things that we now are here to celebrate and paying respects to that part of our heritage. And this is what we think about now, is those values of storytelling. Sharing the stories on this amazing continent that we now know as Australia. And these amazing writers with different genres, theatre, poetry, novels, non-fiction, and how we look at the world and what is impacting on us. It gets us back to being human. And it takes us from our head space to our heart space. We spend so much time thinking we need to get back to what is being. We've had a traumatic year with the bushfires and COVID, and all these books that were published during this period of time were very tough. And it was a very tough year to create these genre in this most dramatic period of our lives, where we couldn't gather to share these stories around a campfire, around a table, but it's something we can do now, coming together with the spirit of generosity that all these storytellers have to offer us, to remind us and how we connect to each other. Womanjika, this is a challenge. Come, ask to come. And what is your purpose for coming? To celebrate these amazing writers or authors. So this is about a celebration that the Wheeler Centre is offering you to come along and enjoy this process for all of us to understand what it is to be human. Nongujun.
Thank you, Auntie Carolyn, for your beautiful welcome to country. It's always such an honour to have you with us and a privilege to be given such a warm welcome to country. I would also like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri and Boonwurrung people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional owners of the lands we are broadcasting from this evening, and to pay my deepest respects to First Nations elders, past and present. Now, I know we're all suffering screen fatigue, but tonight will be special. There'll be virtual champagne and live drawing provided by the wonderful Megan Herbert. But most of all, I'm excited that tonight's broadcast allows viewers from everywhere to witness 8 very special Australian writers being celebrated for their creativity and excellence. Tonight, we'll reveal the winning works and hear from the winning writers for each of the 8 award categories: fiction, non-fiction, drama, poetry, young adult writing, Indigenous writing, the prize for an unpublished manuscript, and the People's Choice Award, as well as the Victorian Prize for Literature, the country's richest literary prize of $100,000. At a time when Australia Council research tells us the average annual salary for a writer is $12,900, the generosity of these awards and the attention that they bring to Australian writers can't be overstated. Now, in the real world, this is the moment when you would spontaneously erupt in cheers and high fives for the wonderful resilience and creativity of Australia's literary community. But since you're not exactly here with us, we have a virtual round of applause, and you can join in from your homes. But now let's get on with the proceedings. It's my very great pleasure to welcome the new Minister for Creative Industries, Danny Pearson.
Thank you, Caro, and welcome everyone to the 2021 Victorian Premier's Literary Awards. While we meet virtually this evening, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners and First Peoples of the various lands on which we come together. I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and to the many thousands of years of First Peoples culture and storytelling. This is the first time this award ceremony is taking place online and reaching audiences throughout Victoria and beyond. So I extend an especially warm welcome to those who are joining us this evening for the first time. This year marks the 36th year of the Victorian Premier's Literary Awards. Inaugurated in 1985 by the late Premier John Cain, the awards have been embraced by the community. They reflect the contribution writers make to our culture and the value Victorians place on books, writing and ideas. 2020 was a year like no other, and throughout that challenging time it was books, along with other cultural content, that helped us through, transporting us to other worlds and keeping us connected. While it's been an incredibly difficult year, especially for our creative sector, it has also been a strong year for Australian writing, with many exciting, diverse works released. More than ever, the pandemic has highlighted the important role writers play in our lives and in our society more broadly. Writers offer us new perspectives. They help us make sense of the world, and they expose us to the breadth of human experience. In unique ways, each of this year's shortlisted works does this and much more. This evening, we are awarding a total of $267,000 in prize money to Australian writers. The judges have shortlisted 26 works over 7 categories: fiction, non-fiction, drama, poetry, writing for young adults, Indigenous writing, and unpublished manuscript. 6 of the category winners will receive a prize of $25,000, and the unpublished manuscript award winner will receive a prize of $15,000. The winners of each category will then contest the $100,000 Victorian Prize for Literature. We're very proud of this award, which remains Australia's richest single literary prize. And I would like to thank the judges who spent hours deliberating and discussing the entries. I certainly don't envy their task in determining this year's winners from an incredible shortlist. I'd also like to thank and congratulate the Wheeler Centre team for once again expertly steering these awards, and for their year-round work championing writers and providing a forum for ideas and discussion. Congratulations to all of tonight's shortlisted writers. Collectively, their works forms the ultimate summer reading list, and I encourage you to work your way through it. Enjoy the evening ahead, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister Pearson. Each year, the People's Choice Award gives book-loving members of the public the opportunity to participate in the awards by voting for their favourite Australian book. And this year, we received more than 1,300 votes, the most votes ever cast in the awards. And I'm very pleased to announce the winner is Witness, an investigation into the brutal cost of seeking justice by Louise Milligan, published by Hachette Australia.
I want to thank so much the Wheeler Centre and the Victorian Premier's Literary Awards for shortlisting my book Witness, and for the many people who voted for Witness, because they, like I, believe so strongly that something needs to change in the criminal justice system for the survivors of sexual crimes who come before the courts and end up re-traumatised by the experience. I decided to write Witness after I was a witness in a very big case, the committal proceeding of Cardinal George Pell. I was cross-examined for a full day. It was, frankly, a brutal experience. And it was also a politicising experience, and it made me think that this is so wrong that we are doing this to vulnerable people. We have to do better by these vulnerable people. And I was shocked when I later, in the research for my book, read the transcript and listened to the audio of cross-examination of other witnesses, but these were people who had suffered crimes. These were people who were children when they were sitting in that witness box. One of them described it as the cognitive annihilation of my 15-year-old brain. We have to have more empathy for these people. I want people to read Witness because I want people to know what happens. I want lawyers to read Witness. I want policymakers to read Witness. I want ordinary members of the public to read it. And so this is such a great honour, and hopefully will encourage more people to do that, because it takes a mountain of courage to come forward, to tell about the worst thing that ever happened to you. It could have happened to you when you were a little kid, or when you were a woman who was, raped by a stranger or by someone she knew. To then have the bruising experience that I bore witness to, it's just not good enough. So thank you again, and please read my book.
Our next category is the prize for fiction. This year, the judges were Mark Brandy, Giselle Onyen Nguyen, Peggy Frew, and convener Sonia Nair, and the shortlisted titles are The Living Sea of Waking Dreams by Richard Flanagan, published by Penguin Random House, Our Shadows by Gail Jones, published by Text Publishing, The Animals in That Country by Laura Jean McKay, published by Scribe Publications, The Coconut Children by Vivian Pham, published by Penguin Random House. The judges also highly commended two books, Revenge, Murder in Three Parts by S.L. Lim, published by Transit Lounge, and Smart Ovens for Lonely People by Elizabeth Tan, published by Brio Books. And the winner is The Animals in That Country by Laura Jean McKay, published by Melbourne's own Scribe Publications.
I am backflipping over the moon to accept the Victorian Premier's Literary Award for Fiction. I'm expressing this joy and privilege from the Papa Whenua of the Rangitane o Papaiʻoia in Aotearoa, New Zealand. The Animals in That Country was completed here, but the book was written on the lands of Wurundjeri people and Wathaurong people of the Kulin Nation, as well as on the traditional lands of Kangarakan people and Larrakia people. I offer my deepest respect to the elders past, present, and future of these countries. To be part of the group of writers highly commended and shortlisted for this award is the deepest honour. Every person recognised here released a book or a manuscript into a global pandemic. And although we can't gather, we are together in this. Thank you so much to the Wheeler Centre and the Victorian Premier's Literary Award and the hardworking, remarkable judges. It is a few days short of a year now since I last saw family and friends in Australia. That this award comes from Victoria, where I grew up, eases my homesickness somewhat. Through the hardship of lockdowns, my Australian friends and family have been there on their screens, and so have my new friends and family in New Zealand. I think my parents must have attended every single online event I've done. Thank you also to my nerd family in the University of Melbourne and Massey University's Creative Writing, English and Media departments. I share this strange and wonderful world with Tom Doig, partner in life and love and writing, who also released his brilliant book, Hazelwood, into the pandemic. Thank you, Tom, for knowing that a novel about talking animals would take about 7 years and for being there for every word. I hope that every writer will have the chance to have the publishing experience that I had with Scribe. My publisher, Marika Webb-Pullman's clear vision brought animals to light. Cora Roberts has worked tirelessly on the publicity, while Henry Rosenblum, with the rest of the Scribe team, championed animals in a way that I didn't think was still possible in publishing. This experience extends to bookshops, festivals, event organisers, and readers who've rallied around books this past year. Thank you. And of course, this world would be nothing without the other animals we share it with. I'm here gratefully accepting this award, but this one is most definitely for the animals. Thank you.
Our next category is a prize for nonfiction. This year, the judges were Shakira Hussein, Crusader Hillis, Eve Rees, Sammy Shah, and the convener, Jacinda Woodhead. And the shortlisted titles are Songlines, The Power and Promise by Margot Neal and Lynn Kelly, published by Thames and Hudson, Australia. Body Count, How Climate Change is Killing Us by Paddy Manning, published by Simon & Schuster. Show Me Where It Hurts by Carly Maslin, published by Text Publishing. Witness, an investigation into the brutal cost of seeking justice by Louise Milligan, published by Hachette Australia. Blueberries by Eleanor Savage, published by Text Publishing. Fire Country, How Indigenous Fire Management Could Help Save Australia by Victor Stephenson, published by Hardy Grunt Travel. The judges also highly commended 4 books. After the Count by Stephanie Convery, published by Penguin Random House. Hazelwood by Tom Doig, published by Penguin Random House. People of the River by Grace Karskens, published by Allen and Unwin. British India, White Australia, Overseas Indians, Intercolonial Relations and the Empire by Karma McLean, published by New South Publishing. And the winner is Body Count, How Climate Change is Killing Us by Patty Manning, published by Simon & Schuster Australia.
It's such an honour to win this award, and I want to give heartfelt thanks to the distinguished panel of judges and acknowledge and congratulate the other shortlisted writers who were equally deserving. I had no expectation of winning, and when I got a missed call from the Wheeler Centre, I thought they must be wanting me to give a talk or something. It means all the more to win this award after a year in which some of the worst fears of climate scientists and health experts, which I hope to highlight by writing Body Count, came true. I first pitched the book in 2017 and started writing in 2019, but it was with increasing urgency as the Black Summer unleashed unprecedented bushfire, smoke and heat wave, and COVID-19 gave us all a crash course in the new age of pandemics, what you might call a side effect of the hotter world we're creating. There are too many to thank here and now, but I want to acknowledge in particular at Simon & Schuster, Dan Ruffino, who backed a risky concept, Ben Ball, who helped me nail a moving target, and Angus Dalton, who did the hard yards on the publicity through COVID. I also want to thank my dear friend Roberta Ivers, head publisher at Library for All, who got the book off the ground. But most important today, I want to thank those people without whose cooperation and goodwill I could not have written the book at all. They are the people who shared their stories, who lost loved ones to extreme weather events, disease and other causes linked to global warming, and whose stories form the backbone of the book. They are Justin Lang, David Tenner, Dale Ahern, Phil Ingemels, Evelyn North, John Tyson, Danny Maguire, Michael Wilson, Ron Foster, Mark and Gerard Orford, Elsa Vung, Peter Jackson, Rosie Edgar, Imogen Jubb, Bruce Shillingsworth and Judith Healy. And I've read for a list to make sure I don't miss anyone. They turned what could have been a truly depressing project into an inspiring one. In the love and courage that they showed lies hope for us all. Thank you.
Our next category is a prize for drama. This year, the judges were Patricia Cornelius, Jacob Boehm, and Kavina Sama Sabawi. And the shortlisted works are Wanangata by Angus Serini, presented by Sydney Theatre Company. Slap Bang Kiss by Don Giovannani, presented by Melbourne Theatre Company. Sunshine Supergirl, the Yvonne Goolagong story by Andrea James, published by Currency Press. The judges also highly commended two works, Wherever She Wanders by Kendall Fever, presented by Griffin Theatre Company and Currency Press. Torch the Place by Benjamin Law, published by Melbourne University Publishing. And the winner is Wanangata by Angus Serini, presented by Sydney Theatre Company.
Thank you for this award. It really looked like last year my play Wanangata wouldn't get on, but it did. A change of venue, a change of dates, quarantine in Darwin, a lot of Zoom. Sydney Theatre Company did everything they could to make it happen, and I'm extremely grateful. Andrea and Dan and every other theatre maker trying to create work in this environment. What we do is fantastic, but it's tough. So this has just been a whole extra level of tough right on top of it. For me, this award means a great deal, and I'd like to thank everyone involved with making it happen. You know who you are, and you're really, really something quite special.
Our next category is the prize for poetry. This year, the judges were Evelyn Ariluan, Maxine Beneba Clark, and the convener, Andy Jackson. And the shortlisted books are Ask Me About the Future by Rebecca Jessen, published by University of Queensland Press. Case Notes by David Stavanger, published by UWA Publishing. Throat by Ellen Van Neerven, published by University of Queensland Press. The judges also highly commended two books, Of Memory and Furniture by Bron Bateman, published by Fremantle Press. Turbulence by Tui On, published by UWA Publishing. And the winner is Case Notes by David Stavanger, published by UWA Publishing.
I want to first acknowledge that I'm coming to you from unceded Dharawal land on the south coast of New South Wales and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and any First Nation writers or people watching this. I'm totally blown away by winning this, whatever winning means in poetry. Really want to say to Ellen and Beck, who were shortlisted, they would have been equally deserving winners, amazing humans, they're friends of mine, fantastic poets. This next bit's just going to be a rapid fire thank you list poem. Thank you to the Wheeler Centre for administering this prize. Thank you to the 3 judges for connecting to the strange light that is Case Notes. Thank you UWAP for taking this collection on when it was really teetering on the ether, particularly Terry Ann White, who backed the work on its own terms. Thank you Laura G. Mackay and Jen Compton for interrogating the work and pushing it to where it needed to go. Thank you Anne-Marie Tafew for your unconditional belief in me as a poet and keeping me out of hospital many times. Thank you to the dogs that appear 55 times across the spine of this book, in particular from Pure Breeds to Rescues, Harry, Jetta and Cookie. Thank you to the expert readers at another publisher that felt the book had much potential but wasn't ready for publication. Thank you to the postmodern trickster poets. May you continue on your merry ways. Thank you to the spoken weird artists and spoken word community. I've always felt very supported to go about things my own way. May Australian poetry continue to evolve into a space that is less elitist and exclusive. And finally, to anyone who has a lived or living mental health experience and has been altered or diminished through their interactions with the mental health system, may we continue to narrate and document our experiences on our terms and challenge the euphemisms and language of the medical model, as well as asserting our rights in relation to coercive and intrusive practices. May we all create our own case notes.
Our next category is the prize for young adult writing. This year, the judges were Jackie Tang, Rebecca Lim, and convener Michael Earp. And the shortlisted books are The F-Team by Rara Arja, published by Giramondo Publishing. Metal Fish, Falling Snow by Kath Moore, published by Text Publishing. Where We Begin by Christine Neiman, published by Pan Macmillan. The judges also commended two books, The End of the World is Bigger Than Love by Davina Bell, published by Text Publishing. The Left-Handed Booksellers of London by Garth Nixt, published by Allen and Unwin. And the winner is Metal Fish, Falling Snow by Kath Moore, published by another of Victoria's own, Text Publishing.
Hello, my name's Kath Moore. I'd like to acknowledge the unceded Wurundjeri land on which I live, elders and storytellers past, present and future. I'm immensely proud that Metal Fish, Falling Snow sits between two other fantastically inspired novels, The F-Team and Where We Begin. So I begin by celebrating Rawa Aja and Christy Neiman for their wonderful contributions to Australian YA. I also celebrate the YA community of readers, writers and reviewers such as Erin Wamala, Alex Patricios at Love Oz YA, Caris McEwen at the Children's Book Council of Australia Victorian Branch, and also Writing Black Australia for their passion and encouragement. I want to thank Dr. Susan Lamarca, Dr. Janine Lian, Ernest Price and Kate Gillespie for their support. I also thank Hez, Monica and Edwin, and especially Maxine Beniba-Clark for your work and open heart. You gave me the confidence to write about my Afro-Caribbean heritage with a sense of curiosity and pride. And I hope that Middlefish Falling Snow inspires other women of colour to do the same. To Kate, Sophie, Emily, Jamila, Delaney at Text, and especially my amazing editor Jane, thank you so much for bringing this book into the world and for looking after me so well. Thank you also, of course, to Mum, Dad, Andreas, Felix, Ish for putting up with a writer. This is not always easy. The arts are an imperative component of any community. It's where we heal and practice dissent and find redemption. So thank you so much to the Victorian Premier's Awards for recognising own voice stories and the critical importance of literature for young people. I'm incredibly honoured to receive this award.
Our next category is the prize for Indigenous Writing. This year, the judges were Crystal McKinnon, Yvette Holt, and Kavina Carissa Lee. And the shortlisted works are Tell Me Why, The Story of My Life and My Music by Archie Roach, published by Simon Schuster, Australia. Kindred by Keely Saunders, published by Magabala Books. Song of the Crocodile by Nardi Simpson, published by Hachette, Australia. Where the Fruit Falls by Karen Wild, UWA Publishing. The judges also highly commended one book, Late Murrumbidgee Poems by John Mucky Burke, published by Cordite Books. And the winner is Tell Me Why, The Story of My Life and My Music by Archie Roach, published by Simon & Schuster, Australia.
What a great honour to receive the Victorian Premier's Literary Awards for Indigenous Writing. And and recognition as well. So I'd like to thank a few people in particular. My publicist, Simon & Schuster. My literary agent, Claire Forster from Curtis Brown. Ben McElvey, Brandon Vanover, and my manager, Jill Shelton. My family, of course. The finalists as well in the Indigenous Writing category, who all deserve to win this award as well. So I'm just so pleased that to win it, especially with such fine writers as well in this category. Of course, the judges as well, who deemed me worthy of this award. Thank you very much. For your consideration.
category is a prize for an unpublished manuscript. This year, the judges were Alison Evans and convener Elena Gomez, and the shortlisted works are Anam by Andre Dow, On a Nice Edge by Neela Jan Akira Manon, But the Girl, Jessica Zan Mei Yu. The judges also highly commended 3 manuscripts: Children of Tomorrow by J.R. Bergman, Goblins by Patrick Hunn, and The Guest House by Kali Mira Mohammadi. And to reveal the winner, Minister Danny Pearson.
The winner of the Unpublished Manuscript Award is Andre Dow for Anam. Congratulations, Andre.
It's an honour to have been shortlisted with Neela Janakiramanan and Jessica Yu. Growing up, I didn't realise that Australian literature could look like this. I'm so grateful to live in a place with this kind of support for literature. The existence of this award is something to be cherished, defended and built upon. I've been working on this book for over 10 years now, and in that time so many people have supported and encouraged me. Thank you for your belief in me and this project. No one has been more supportive or forbearing than my partner, Catherine. You've been an integral part of this journey the whole way. Thank you for being my sharpest critic. Finally, I'd like to acknowledge my family, especially my grandparents, my Ombanoi, who this book is about and for. I have not been able to do justice to your extraordinary lives. I can only hope that this attempt will be enough. Thank you.
Now we come to the final award of the night, the Victorian Prize for Literature. Now, just to re-explain that each of the winners, the main categories tonight, are eligible for this very special award, which, as I said, is the richest in the country. And at home right now, these amazing writers are chewing their nails because the winner of the Victorian Prize for Literature receives an incredible $100,000. And now Minister Danny Pearson joins us again to announce tonight's big winner.
And the winner of the 2021 Victorian Prize for Literature, the single most valuable literary award in the country, is Laura Jean Mackay for The Animals, in That Country, published by Scribe Publications. Congratulations, Laura, on this incredible achievement.
What? Yes! You have $100,000. You were the winner.
What? What?
Yes, I'm sure. No. Yes, congratulations. Huge congratulations.
Oh, that is ridiculous. That's the most wonderful, unimaginable thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Huge congratulations. We
That is just unbelievable. I'm sorry. I just am completely inarticulate. So, out of all those incredible books, that is such an honor. That is just so amazing. Oh, I wish I could just hug the judges and you. Thank you so much. That is the most phenomenal thing I've ever heard of. I can't quite believe it. I'm a little worried that you're joking. It's the deepest honor of my entire life. I would never have imagined this. I would never have imagined that a little book about humans and animals communicating together could win, the best of awards. And that you're telling me this from the Wheeler Centre. I was just thinking about this before, that you're telling me this from the Wheeler Centre, which is like, you know, it's like a home for writers in Melbourne. You know, I finished a big chunk of the book there when I was on a hot desk residency. You know, I go to the Wheeler Centre constantly when I can get to Melbourne. So that's just phenomenal. Yeah, I just can't wait to, you know, to just share this honour with Scribe, who I just didn't ever think I'd get an experience like I get with them. It's like an old-fashioned, you know, writer-editor relationship with me and Marika Webb-Pullman and Cora Roberts and Henry Rosenblum and the team. That's just amazing. And also, oh, I mean, I just miss my friends and family in Melbourne and Victoria so much. And, you know, this definitely makes me feel a lot closer and to them. And I just, yeah, it'll be nice to share. They've just been with me the whole time, whether we can be with each other or not. And so just to share that with them is so incredible. And also just, I'll just say it again, just that it's, you know, just a book that is so much about the animal characters. You know, it's not just sort of about this human experience, but it's definitely about the journey of a dingo called Sue and the other animals in that book. That just means a lot to be able to sort of celebrate those animals on the page and also celebrate it with you through this award. It's so huge. Thank you. And yeah, and so many congratulations to the shortlisted and finalist authors, and thank you so much to the judges. I can only imagine what it would be like in that room with the lineup, the fiction and non-fiction and poetry and plays and YA and manuscripts that have been produced, like published into this last year, have been phenomenal, and readers have been gobbling them up. And so I just really hope that everyone, you know, looks at the commended and the shortlisted writers and just, you know, and just takes advantage of that amazing list that's been put together and chosen.
What a wonderfully positive and uplifting way to start the year after the challenges of 2020. And what an honour it is for the Wheeler Centre to work with Creative Victoria and the Premier's Office to support the Australian literary community in this way. These awards really do change writers' lives, and I'd like to pay homage to Premier Daniel Andrews and his government for their continued commitment to these awards and their broader support of arts and culture. In March last year, when we in the sector had the rug pulled out from under us, our colleagues at Creative Victoria stood beside us and have guided us and supported us throughout the pandemic so that we could continue to support Australian writers, artists, musicians and other creators. Without their commitment, many of the institutions we've come to rely upon simply wouldn't have survived. Congratulations again, Laura, and to all our winning, shortlisted and highly commended writers and their publishers. Thank you again to Nawit Carolyn Briggs and to our amazing illustrator, Megan Herbert, and Minister Danny Pearson for being part of the award ceremony, and to all of the libraries and bookstores who support the awards and Australian readers. And thanks to each of you at home for joining us this evening. We hope you'll seek out these wonderful books for your summer reading lists. They're available from tonight's official bookseller readings and also from your local independent bookstore or your library. We very much hope to see you at a Wheeler Centre event soon. And thank you again for joining us tonight. Good night.